Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Don, and this is the Crimson Bebop. Today I'm going to be going over my top 5 figures of 2022. So, let's get into it. First figure on the list, Albedo from Overlord. This is a 1/7 scale by Katakawa, and I got it for about $230 back in March. So this was probably the first figure I did on my channel, which that video is amazing, but it is also one of my most favorite characters in anime, at least female-wise, because she is gorgeous. But this figure is stunning. I love the fact that she's descending. I love the fact that her wings are open, and the detail on her sculpt is beautiful, from her hair, her wings, even her dress. So Albedo definitely makes my top 5 choice for the figures of this year. Now, with that being said, I don't usually buy too many of the same characters, but because I like Albedo so much, there's actually a second figure of her coming out, I believe, next year that I'm going to get as well. But this figure is gorgeous. I think this is one of the best Albedo figures I've seen, because I love the sculpt and I love designer details. But the one fault I have with it is the base. The base is a plain black, which is kind of boring. It doesn't necessarily make or break a figure for me, but I do wish they did something a little more unique with it. It's very hard to kind of just have such a beautiful figure and then have such a plain base. So as much as I love the figure, the base is the only thing I will probably change about it. If I had the skills, I would probably make a custom base for her. But either way, this figure is gorgeous, and definitely, if you love Albedo, I would say pick this figure up. Not sure if she's still available on AmiAmi or Right Stuff or Crunchyroll, but if you can find her, great. But good news is, because Albedo is so popular, you will never run short of finding a figure for her. So, Albedo, number 5. Next figure on the list should be no surprise to anyone. It is Addis Nikiri from Food Wars, made by Freen, and is a 1/4 scale bunny figure. Now, if you know I love Food Wars, obviously, because I have the rest of the Food Wars girls right behind me here. But Addis is probably one of my favorite characters in the show. And this is a beautiful figure. And I picked her up for about $170 back in June. I think she was delayed. I can't remember for sure. It's been a little while. But her sculpt is gorgeous. I think the Food Wars Freen Bunnies figures are some of their best work, because how well they do the shading, the hair sculpt, the body sculpt for them is beautiful. And Addis is just amazing. I love the details from her hair. I love the fact that it's a white dress. It could have been red, but I think the white was a good decision. The shading, even though like very hints of blue on it, are amazing. And also I love the face detail, because even at the little that snickery smirk with her tongue sticking out is pretty much pure Addis. So this figure literally embodies her character, and it is so great, because between Addis and her cousin Irina, she definitely is the more free-spirited one and very more open to her sexuality, and that is displayed very much here with her figure, as opposed to like Irina, who's a little bit more reserved, and as opposed to Rindo, who is very much more, sexual, or very much open about displaying her sexuality. So I think Addis is a good midpoint between Rindo and Irina. So I love this figure, and I'm so happy to have it. Like, she is definitely belongs on my top 5 figures of this year, because Food Wars is one of my favorite ecchi series, and it's pure gold with comedy. So love the fact I have her in my collection. Next figure on the list is probably going to be a surprise, and not a surprise. It's Faye Valentine from First Four Figures. Her exact scale I'm not sure of, but she runs about $380 on their site. Now, the reason I say this isn't a surprise because you know I love Cowboy Bebop, obviously given the channel name. But the surprise part comes the fact that she's number 3. Now, she's number 3 not because I think she's a bad figure or anything. I love Faye, I love the design, I love the sculpt. I love everything about this figure. Their shading is amazing. The face detail is beautiful. Like everything about the figure is just gorgeous. I cannot say there's a better Faye figure out there because this is a beautiful sculpt design. It's so amazing. It captures the character in the anime and the setting beautiful, especially like the details at the very bottom of it, because there's like a bunch of things for Faye at the base of it. You'll probably get like that more when I do the 360 of it, but the figure is gorgeous. And the only reason she's number 3 is because I think the top 2 figures are just very beautiful as well, and they think they're a lot more unique. But that doesn't take away from how beautiful Faye is. It was very hard for me to figure out the last 3 on what order to go in. But as much as I love every figure, I like Faye definitely is gorgeous, and she's definitely probably one of my grail figures and all my other Bebop figures here. But Faye is gorgeous. I really was happy when I got her. So I'm still debating if she should be number 1, but I think the other 2 figures deserve their spots as well. But just so you know, this figure sits take about 6 Coke cans, right? And stack them up. She's about that tall. That's how big she is. So there's no exact scale figure to her, but she is beautiful. And if you don't know, go check out First Four Figures. They do amazing work. They did my Jet figure, they did Spike, they did Ed and 9. They have Vicious coming out, and they now have a Spike and Vicious in the Fallen Angels scene, or not the Fallen Angels scene, I'm sorry, the very last scene of the show. Like the final showdown. Oh man, I figured it's about to come out too. But Faye is gorgeous. The one thing I do want to say is that this is the exclusive edition, where she comes with additional handpiece that actually has her videotape that she gets, an additional screen. Besides, this one has her kid, her as a child, as the other one has just a very standard, I guess, video on the back. But this is the exclusive edition, and First of Figures, I thank you very much for making these figures, because Cowboy Bebop, favorite anime, favorite show of all time, and these are the best figures of them, and you guys do beautiful work, so go check them out. Alright, number 2 is Ningguang from Genshin Impact, Eiwa Mihoyo. And she is a 1/7 scale, and I got her for about 200 USD. Not including shipping, but shipping she was a little more. If you saw her, she has a beautiful wooden box that she comes in, but the figure itself is gorgeous. Like, she is absolutely stunning, from the molding details on the figure itself. It's just beautiful. I love her hair design and how long it is, and it just drapes on the floor. Her legs and the details that they have on them from the golden embroidery is just amazing. Even the fact that she has a small little red/yellow tattoo on her thigh is just sexy as hell. And the fact that she looks just very stunning, the fact that she just has this pipe is amazing. So that's just the figure itself. I love, if it was just a figure, if it was just Ningguang here in the chair, I would have loved it. But what makes the figure so much better is the fact that they have all of these things around her. From the base, even though it's very big, there's also the background pieces from, for instance, the lamp, the incense, the candle, the scrolls. All of that makes this a very unique backdrop for her, and just makes the figure stand out all the much more. It makes her so unique, because even though like it's a lot of pieces there, it's just very nice to see all of this combined in such a beautiful way, to where it doesn't take away from the figure. It just pretty much emphasizes her in and of herself. And the fact that, you know, one of those scrolls here acts like a thing to actually turn the light on is also cool, because now I have a little light. Granted, I don't use that because, you know, I don't have any point to, but it's just also very nice just to have something that unique with a figure. But Ningguang is a gorgeous figure. And even though I don't play Genshin Impact, I appreciate the design of characters to the fact that I felt like I needed her in my collection, and I'm very happy I got her because her unboxing by itself was so cool. The box was the most unique thing I've ever seen in how it opened, and just the fact that it makes very cool photography. It's just very cool photography how you can just put her in a box and it's just its own thing. If you did make the box her display case, please show me because I would love to see that. But Ningguang's just a beautiful figure, and I think everything about her is just gorgeous. If you like Genshin Impact or you just love a good design of a character, I would say pick up Ningguang if she's still available because she might have sold out really fast. But honestly, her sculpt, her shading, her overall design is just gorgeous. And if I'd never pick up another Genshin Impact figure, or if I'd never even played Genshin Impact, I'll be happy just to have her in my collection. So Ningguang definitely deserves that number 2 spot on my 2020 figure list. The number 1 figure for 2022 might be a bit of a surprise because she was my later edition. She came, I believe she arrived in what? She arrived in November. So just about a month or so after Ningguang. But the figure is an illustration. Oh, that's a little noisy. Illustration by Yuji collaboration. Yuji Ningguang. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. If I'm not, please let me know. But there's no scale for this figure. I paid about $167 before shipping. And I gotta say, I did not really. I know this figure is gonna be beautiful. When I was trying to figure out if I wanted to buy it or not, it was very hard because I was going back and forth on whether to buy it or not. Because up to this point, all my figures in my collection were pretty much of characters I knew or animes I've watched or games I've played. Ningguang was the first one out of a character never really interacted with the media for it. So that was a departure from stuff I've played or watched. But this figure was a departure from pretty much everything. It wasn't anime related, it wasn't game related. I was not familiar with any of the illustrations from this artist. But the figure itself captured me because of just how beautiful it is. It's just this figure that you can really see as an art piece in any kind of sculpture or museum or anything like that, because that's how beautiful I think it is. And it captures something very unique and very nice because I love, for instance, the acrylic background is very nice. You probably can't see it in the video, but there is some writing on the back that just details about the authors and illustration, which is very nice. Along with the flower decal that's on the back, it's just a very nice kind of ring that just, one, accentuates the character in the forefront. And then there are even flowers on the base of it, which just falls at her, not feet because she has no feet, but pretty much at the base, which is very nice, again, because it just emphasizes the character. But the character herself is amazingly unique because I love the flower design decals that's on her skin. It's very nice and it's very elegant and so tastefully done. It's like on her shoulder, on her bust, it's on her thigh. It's very nice and it's very, tastefully done for characters like this. I love the color of her hair, and the sculpt of it is so immaculately perfected that you don't see any blotching or anything like that. And there's even a bit of kind of a glitter-like shine on the top of her hair, and it just kind of flows very naturally and nice. That I love this figure. Her face is gorgeous. I love how her face came out in this sculpt. It's so nice and it's so unique that I don't think they could have done a better job, because if it's for instance, from paper to sculpt, I think this is one of the best transitions from that because I've seen the original artwork for her and it's gorgeous. And I think they did a great job, going from paper to 3D model. I don't think you're going to see very there are very few things I think compete with how great they did this, because the attention to detail for this is just amazing. And I love her outfit. It's not, I don't think it's practical in a sense. I guess, I don't know, but it's just very unique because it's this long sleeves with pretty much these ribbons kind of going off from her sleeves. On both sides, it has that same type of thing here. And what's even more amazing is that I'm pretty sure they used actual string and ribbon when they did this, because it's just very nice, because you can see the green string here on the front. It's actual string. And it's just so phenomenally done. And it might be, I guess, depending on how you are as a collector or anything, you might think this may be too revealing for a character, or you don't like that. In all honesty, this is beautiful, because it's the fact that I think encompasses sexuality, but at the same time uniqueness, and just the representation of art that makes this character so gorgeous. And she definitely deserves the #1 spot for my 2022 figures. And again, because I was flip-flopping back and forth, or should I get this figure, should I not get it, I would really hate myself for not getting this, because it's gorgeous, and I don't think I can kind of see myself not having this figure now. Even though it's pretty much on the smaller side of my scale figures, she stands out. Like, you will see her in the room, like, that's a gorgeous figure. So definitely deserves the #1 spot for my 2022 figures. All right, guys, that has been my top 5 figures of 2022. This has been a great year as far as like figure unboxing and me starting this channel. And I'm so hyped for everything that happened last year. But overall, let me know in the comments down below what you think of the figures. Tell me, what are your top 5 figures that you got this year? I would love to see that. Send me my figure collection link. Let me see what you have there. That would be real cool to see how many of you guys just love your figures and how many of you just have a top 5 for the year. But I want to thank you guys very much for watching, and I hope you're having a blessed new year. And I will see you in the next one. Later, crew.